valuable company in the world right now is NVIDIA.
China gonna have to bow down, man. China is going to have to bow
down. Good evening, and welcome to the nightly recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network.
Good evening. Welcome to the nightly recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network. I'm Rob Nelson. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy peace in the Middle East. Well, Trump's officially declared the war in Israel and Palestine is over and said it's time to begin Gaza's reconstruction. This is interesting. If you watched my show earlier, and if you didn't, I suggest watching Rob Nelson Live on a replay. It'd be one of the best shows you watch this week anywhere. And I'm not just saying that, it's true. I combine a whole lot of cool things in it. Backstory, some celebrity 6 degrees from me connections. No, not sex. Well, some sex, but not mostly. And what this all means for the world. And it's kind of a turning point. So it's more than just there's a peace deal in the Middle East that Trump put together. That's significant in and of itself that he pulled it off. All those who won't give him credit for it or like pretending they don't mention his name with everybody versus those who like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, even Kamala Harris begrudgingly acknowledging the president. Kamala was begrudgingly. Hillary was like right up front. I commend President Trump for doing this. The whole battle of who will and won't. It's like a bunch of sixth graders. Just fucking acknowledge the guy got peace in the Middle East and be grateful. It's what you wanted. Sorry, does this mean your protest movement falls apart? What happens if you rebuild Gaza? And like their plan to rebuild Gaza and like Arab nations pour in money, Hamas is suppressed and doesn't have the might, the money, or the military ability to fight very hard. Gazans want peace. You start rebuilding. The Arab countries come in. Saudi Arabia and Israel start moving back toward a peace agreement, which they were starting to move toward before the October 7th attack from Hamas into Israel. What happens when all this starts happening and Palestine starts growing roots and beautiful trees and, olive trees and beautiful houses, not little shacks, but actually like it starts becoming something again. It's a rebuild. The place has been fucking demolished. It's heartbreaking to look at. It's a rebuild. What happens when that rebuild happens? And Israel and Palestine start to find peace. I said this on my show about a week ago. Any of you ever go to Japan, Germany, visit for fun, have friends there maybe? Some of you might have taken a trip to Vietnam. Beautiful place, right? Go to the beaches, check out the countryside, the jungles. 1970, no American was checking out those jungles unless they were crawling through them, hoping not to get shot or shooting at somebody else or were strung up on a tree by Vietnamese soldiers. I mean, the Viet Cong. It's crazy how fast things can change. And things change faster now than they used to. Germany, Japan. And, it wasn't that long after we blew the, crap out of all of them, demanded unconditional surrender, dropped nukes on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It was only like, it's like 10 years. It was even less than that. I mean, the Marshall Plan implemented immediate rebuilding. We'll need a Marshall Plan of sorts for Gaza. Where we just poured in money. Lesson learned from World War I. Don't defeat your enemy, vanquish them. Don't then let them suffer in misery. All they'll do is remain angry. That's what will guarantee Hamas grows back up. Stronger, like happened in Germany. Rebuild them. Give them things. Make people happy. Give them something to live for. That goes a long way. That carrot goes a long way to making people not want to be angry and hostile. So my point I was getting at is what happens to all these 18 to 24-year-old diehard Palestinians with their heads wrapped and their faces blocked and their little robes and their, from the river to the sea, intifada, Intifada, intifada. My dyslexia kills me. Intifada, intifada. I always love asking, what river, what sea? Could it be the Denial? That's a river in Egypt. Denial. From the river to the sea. Intifada, intifada. What happens? What do they do now? Where do they go? Where do they go when the Palestinians are like, we kind of like it now? Oh, well, fuck America. No, we kind of like America. America helped us. America helped rebuild us. And they got, all the Arab nations in on it. Actually, President Trump were a big fan. What happens to all those protesters? They'll be 26, 27, 28, 29. Their entire purpose had been squished, stomped on, and thrown into like a garbage can, buried. People. Anyway, reconstruction begins. Good news for Gaza. Change happens. We'll see where it goes. It's not over yet. The hard part's still coming. Well, the hardest part just happened. The hard part's still coming. That sounds super sexual. The most difficult part already happened. Getting them this far, getting the 20 living hostages returned, getting Israel to back its troops all the way up and out, letting the aid trucks flow in at high volume, and returning 2,000 Palestinians, including 250 people who were arrested, given life sentences after the attack, who were terrorists. They've all been released too. Olive branch going on here. And now the rebuilding starts, and Qatar's in on it, and Turkey's in on it. The Saudis will be in on it. They had the whole ceremony in Egypt. Egypt will be in on it. Like I said, I think Hamas would like to go and psycho this, but it's harder to do these days because they don't have much to psycho with unless they just want to take a knife. They lost a lot of rockets. They lost a lot of military. They lost most of their leadership. They lost a whole lot of people. And they watched the Palestinian people start getting decimated. So they've lost ground there too, because a whole lot of Palestinians at this point probably, while they might hate Israel, they're kind of like, Hamas, stop. Like, you're just getting us killed at this point. We don't win this way. So stop, and stop hiding behind us. Stop hiding behind our kids and in our churches, in our schools. People don't know they do that? You think people like that? Oh, we'll make you all martyrs, kids. You study. We're going to hide behind you. If the bad Israelis bomb us and kill you, oh, well. You go to heaven and get 42 virgins before you even have sex for a first time in your life. Effed up. Trump reaffirms that they're not going to have a World War III. Like Trump's like, Trump is on like a candy high. Like, he's like the happiest guy ever. He's the kid who was bullied in school and, suddenly got the hottest girlfriend. And, and got acknowledged by, the biggest pro football player, like Tom Brady came and gave him took him up on a plane, and so all the kids watched. That's Trump right now. Because he got bullied for, you got the thing, he got bullied for 8 years. Not that Trump couldn't get the girls. As he said, he grabbed them by the pussy. So that wasn't his issue. No, I don't really believe he did. But I did believe he got the girls. I mean, just because he was rich and, he was kind of good looking back in the day. If you look at him, it's crazy looking at him in 1980 even, I mean, he's 80 years old. He's an old dude, He looks 80. He walks very slowly, but not like Biden slowly, not like shuffle Biden. He walks slowly, purposefully slowly. I bet he couldn't run very fast though, but he walks slowly and kind of measured and kind of moves slowly. He was more emphatic before. I think he's learned he's got all this power. He can just kind of compress it down and doesn't need to push it out. But he's assured us we're not going to have a World War III. So y'all can sleep peacefully. I didn't think we were going to have World War III. But a whole lot of people got scared of it. I was said, I don't think Putin will do it. I mean, I don't think Putin would risk the loss of his own power. Maybe on his deathbed he would. I don't know. He wants to rebuild the Russian Empire. He doesn't want to destroy the world, which would destroy the Russian Empire. I'm not saying he wouldn't push the button if he thought he could get away with it, but he'd lose everything. He'd lose all his people. He'd lose all his dreams, all his ambitions. Nobody wants to wipe the human race out if you think about it. We could do it accidentally, but not according to Trump. President Trump's here. So sleep well, children. President Daddy Trump has you covered. Listen, give the guy credit. He pulled this thing off. He seems to have a way with world leaders. It's got to be bugging him that he can't get to Putin. Putin kind of played him. Trump's one of those guys probably doesn't like to lose, right? It does, probably. Like, seriously? Like, I'm not done with Putin. I'm gonna arm Kiev up and force Putin to the negotiating table. Trump doesn't like losing, and he likes making deals. We'll see. But for now, Trump's reaffirmed we're not going to have a World War III. Meanwhile, Time magazine put Trump on the cover. Generally, they put him on the cover with not so favorable things. This time, they called it his triumph. It had, you see the picture, it has a little bit of a king-like feel to it, but they're not being tongue-in-cheek. But it's like his triumph, capital H, capital T, sort of like has a sort of a royalty feeling to it. But I'll give Time credit. It is Trump's triumph. I mean, he did this. Hate the guy, hate everything he stands for. You can't deny he did this. You can hate 100. Where is it? Hold on. I had a quote here. Was it? No, it's John Meacham, the speechwriter for Joe Biden, presidential historian. He didn't say you can hate 100 things. He said he acknowledged we don't know how this all ends, but on Morning Joe on MSNBC, he said we can go on and on and on about the various chapters. He's also a presidential historian, but was a Biden speechwriter. But make no mistake about this. This is a victory for President Trump and for those who wish that we can govern ourselves at home and around the world, not simply by brute force, but by ideas and civilized norms. It's a really interesting point, a really interesting observation. This is a victory for Trump, sure. Notch on the belt, big effing deal. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize, however, and they just totally ghosted him on that. Gave it to the Venezuelan opposition leader, who then, partially dedicated it to Trump and the people fighting, because she acknowledged Trump helped, not because she thought he should get it for Israel, because she feels like he's really helped make peace, helped push her to be able to survive and eventually overthrow Maduro in Venezuela. But it's a victory for those who wish that we can govern at home and around the world, not just by brute force, which is what everyone accuses Trump of doing, using brute force all the time. But he doesn't. He did with Iran. He backed Israel with Palestine. He will probably now back Kiev and Zelensky in Ukraine to have more force with Putin. But it's a stick to get a carrot. It's old, Teddy Roosevelt style. Walk softly, carry a big stick. I'm adding in the hold out a carrot. I don't think he said that. Just added that to Roosevelt. He's dead. He can't correct me. But by ideas and civilized norms, and that's what this is. This is by ideas and civilized norms, and that's a big deal. Like, it's a big deal that this is happening. Yes, it took, and I think Israel was right had to beat Hamas down to a point where they would agree. Hamas was stupid if they wanted to keep this conflict going. They were wrong to hold on to hostages. They should have let the hostages go, because Israel would have backed down somewhat. It would have still stayed in the current mode, but it wouldn't have just kept plowing in deeper and harder and punching more and more and more. Like, just wouldn't have. And holding on the hostages just made them resolute. Like, we won't stop till we'll kill whoever we have to kill to get them back. So finally they let them go, and the troops are gone. Right? That's simple. But I'll give Time credit for acknowledging what Trump did. It is pretty impressive when you think about it. And Trump does deserve credit, even if you don't like him. But who was it that said, I have to find it. It's going to bug me if I don't find it. Who was it that said, even if you don't agree with somebody about 100 things? It was. I don't know. Maybe it was a journalist. Oh yeah, it was Abby Phillips from CNN saying, it shouldn't be a problem to acknowledge that Trump did it, and you don't have to endorse everything he does to say that there's a thing he's done that is important for the world. And I think that's a good way to look at this. You can dislike a lot of what he does and stands for, but you can't deny this is a good thing for the world. This is a very good thing for the world, and he did it. It's a very good thing for the world. If you're the people who are the pro-Hamas college students marching around clueless about what you're actually supporting and how you'd last over there, you go home to your nice college dorm. Go live over there. You should be grateful because you wanted Palestine to survive. Well, this is their chance. Now there's no more troops rolling over them, and there is going to be a massive rebuild of Gaza. Billions and billions and billions of dollars are going to go into rebuilding Gaza. Some of it's going to come from us. Most of it's going to come from the uber wealthy Gulf states. And that's a big deal. I'm telling you, these protesters, these kids, they got trouble brewing for their brains. They're gonna have to find something new to fight for. What are they gonna pick this time? Got to find a new cause that they don't understand. From the river to the sea, infantada. It's not infantada, it's intifada. Okay, back here at home, they've now extended the government shutdown the last 36 days. I swear to God, maybe I'm just really removed. I don't even notice. That's how little I rely on the federal government for anything. Could it extend through April and there's no one to the IRS? How about that? They're not essential workers, right? Oh, they're going to make them essential workers. They're going to make them essential workers the same way they made Uber delivery drivers essential workers and people who worked in fast food restaurants essential workers during COVID. What do you mean? We need people to deliver this shit to us. Of course you're essential. No, they'll make the IRS people essential because they got to figure out how to collect the money to fund the government that they're not funding. But I don't notice. I don't really utilize federal services very much. Essential or non-essential, obviously. Whole lot of people not getting their jobs back. They're calling it reduction in force. I'm RIF. I'm calling it RIP. Like rest in peace, baby. You got furloughed and you ain't coming back. Take a vacation and take an extra vacation and then just move right on to your next life. Take a permanent vacation from the government. We don't need all these people. God, people are so brainwashed. We don't need this big a government. May hating on Musk, but he was right. Doge was right. All the waste, fraud, and abuse. I said this on my show. I hope it wasn't on here because I'd be repeating myself. About 2 weeks ago. I shouldn't even say I said it. No one will remember I said it. It's the thing. Repeat yourself. Don't tell people you're repeating yourself because most people don't even remember. You said it the first time. But when I was doing my Gen X political stuff and I was on TV all the time, I was on MTV, used to have MTV News because MTV was a big deal in the 90s, right? We all watched it and it was the videos and the whole thing. Now it's whatever. Who knows what's on it? It's reality shows, reruns. But it was big then. There's a clip of me because we were pushing for the government to stop wasting money and put it toward resources that matter for the next generation. Us, not you millennials and not you Gen Zers. It was for us, Generation X. We were the 20-somethings then. And I was like, enough of the waste, fraud, abuse. Gotta cut it. Gotta no more pork. Got to live within our means. I'm like, wow. It's like in 1993. Like 30 years later, we're saying the same thing. Waste, fraud, abuse. There's so much waste, fraud, and abuse in our government. We don't need it. We don't need it. Bye-bye. See ya. We don't need all these workers. Sorry. I know you. You know what? Get a job. I want a job too. I want everyone in the country to pay me for my job. I know I sound really cold-hearted. Like a cold-hearted capitalist prick. I'm capitalist part, that's true. I'm very warm-hearted. Okay. Bitcoin. Well, let me tease this with Who do you think bought, $30 million worth of Bitcoin recently? Michael Saylor. That guy just doesn't stop. I don't know if you're a football fan. He's like Dan Campbell, the coach of the Lions. Like, Dan Campbell almost always goes for it on 4th and 1 and 2. I mean, if it was 4th and inches and the Lions were backed up to their own 7-yard line, I don't know if you know football, right? If you're on your side of the field, you have to go the whole way to the other side to get the touchdown. So 7-yard line, you're 93 yards from your touchdown, and they're only 7 yards from theirs. Last thing you want to do is give them the ball 7 yards there out, right? So it's 4th down and inches. You punt that ball as far downfield. Hope you can get it down to the 30 on the other side. Dan Campbell would be like, it's 4th and inches. We go for it. That's Michael Saylor with Bitcoin. So go for it. He doesn't care. He buys high, buys low. I'm sure he bought the 27.2 million. I don't know when the buy happened. I guess it probably happened after Bitcoin had rebounded a little. He must have bought it. I don't know the exact time. Someone out there might know. I'm guessing because it's now up. Well, I don't know. It crossed up to 116. I don't know what it's at this moment. But, it was a scary fall for a lot of people. And gold's at an all-new time high of 4,100. All-time high for gold. Gold and Bitcoin. The digital gold and the physical gold. It's interesting how much wealth got erased in that collapse. It happened so fast. And obviously, we're going to talk about it in a minute. The Trump tariffs obviously triggered that. Then China and the export controls and the Trump going 100% tariffs on 100% tariffs on China. That obviously triggered it. So we'll just jump to that for a second. We'll come back to Bitcoin in a minute. China supplies 90% of what they call, rare earth. I guess it's just called rare earth minerals, right? But it's and they supply 90% of the processed rare earths and rare earth magnets. I'm not sure what the magnets part is, but essentially, it's just critical materials for technology development, especially for semiconductor chips and other things. So if we're in an AI future economy, you need a whole lot of chips and a whole lot of computing power. Rare earth minerals are key. China controls all that. There's people who think China said they were going to clamp down and export controls on it because they planned it the whole time, because they want dominance. They're the second biggest economy in the world. They want tech dominance. They don't want to be, they're like, well, if we control the thing you need for all these chips, among other things, if we just don't let you have it, you can't make them. We get them. We get more of them. We control the AI on the production side. We control being able to make more of what runs it. It would be a smart move, I mean, not that China would ever do that. It'd be kind of like intentionally letting the COVID virus out and seeing what happens. No one would ever do that, right? No. Maybe. Trump responds with 100% tariffs on China, on top of whatever tariffs are already there, 100% on top. And the markets go boom. 2% S&P down, steepest one-day drop since April. The crypto markets took it hard, boom, and right through the weekend too, just hammered. At least the stock market closed on Friday. I mean, people. I mean, there's that guy in Kiev in the Lamborghini who shot himself. He lost He owed $67 million. I don't shoot yourself over that, but it's a shitty day for you for sure. People kill themselves when they can't pay. I don't know. Go get a check from the government. I mean, it's not worth dying over. There are things worth dying over. Not having money wouldn't be one of them. But in any case, not making light of it, people lost fortunes. And there's apparently, and I don't know if this is not true or not true, but somebody, again, out there might know, was watching, however many of you there are. I should start watching comments is what I should do. But and I should interact. Then maybe I'd get more comments. But there is something that somebody basically, after with the pricing. I'm going to probably get this wrong with how manipulated some numbers out there to make it look a certain way and sort of help trigger more of a crash and then made billions off of it. I don't know if that loosely, the way I described that, makes sense or happened, but that's what I've heard. It wasn't just a reaction to the tariffs. It was also somebody kind of manipulating in a way, like somebody hidden behind the Wizard of Oz kind of thing. Either way, whatever factors weighed in, it was, it was like kaboom, like for the markets. And Bitcoin is now found its way back up, which is my point. This is the good news. Bitcoin's up to 116. I'm happy about that. I'm really bad at the trading side. Like, I'm not like David, like who's a genius at this stuff. So I just like hold my Bitcoin. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I mean, he's good at trading in general. I'm not. But at the time I was like, when it crossed 120, 121, I was like, why don't I sell some of this off? I know it's going to keep going up. I don't know, not forever. It'll go down. It'll go up. That's my theory on Bitcoin, right? That's the Michael Saylor buy high, buy low. I know it's going to go up and then it's going to come down. Then it's going to go up. My thing is, why don't I sell it when I think it's kind of near the top? Well, you would have guessed it was somewhere around. I mean, I didn't see the tariff thing coming, but I figured somewhere around 120, 121. Maybe it'd make it to 124, 125. Hold there for a minute. But it wasn't good in my mind going to just hit 130 before it took a big dip. And I didn't think the dip would be this big, but I thought it would dip enough that it was a meaningful dip. Like 116 would have seemed sensible where it is now. And like sell it and then rebuy it. I don't know. I just hold it. So I watch it go up. It's like, it was thousands of dollars today, make thousands of dollars tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just ranting and raving about that. Meanwhile, Citibank, which manages 1.7 trillion in assets, is launching crypto custody services in 2026. There you go. All the big players are coming in. 2026 crypto custody services. I think that's fantastic. I think every big bank needs to do it. I mean, it's time. What was it? Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, was on. What was he on yesterday or today? And he said, he was like basically called Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme, and then came around and said it's going to be one of the most powerful assets in the world. And then, whether he believed it or not, I don't know. Or he just saw the dollar signs and launched the ETFs. I think he had to believe it a little bit, although it's always fascinated me. Sidebar, fun question. Bitcoin was designed to be a counter to the institutional system, the centralized banking system. The Larry Finks, the BlackRocks were like the enemy of Bitcoin. Now they have the ETFs, and they're making billions from it. And they're also helping Bitcoin's price go up and its acceptance broaden, right? So they're kind of helping Bitcoin grow as an asset, get far more acceptance. It's helping the crypto industry as a whole. But it's literally also reinforcing the very thing, the people that Bitcoin was designed to undercut. It's an interesting dilemma. Go ask an OGer about it. See what they say. I get all different answers. Like, it's so fascinating. On the one hand, yes. On the other hand, no. On the one hand, we want Bitcoin. We want everyone to know about it. We want Bitcoin to go up. We want it to be the most powerful assets in the world. We want it to eventually take over. Well, what happens when you got the power players now trying to put a corner on it and having some of the biggest plays in the space? Well, that's not so good. The two are going to go head to head. I never thought Bitcoin would totally take over the TradFi system. I thought it would always integrate, but it is interesting. Anyway, sidebar, to see them coming together, Larry Fink saying it's a Ponzi scheme, it's going to be one of the best assets in the world, most powerful, influential. But that's not what he was saying the other day. He was saying something more broadly about crypto, and that in general, crypto is going to become, I think it was like become a vital part of the international financial community as the assets in it. Like it's going to be a full-fledged member. We're gonna let the Jew into the country club. We're gonna let the black person in the country club. We're gonna let crypto in and Bitcoin in. Notice how I cleverly made those comments back to bringing it back to Israel before I close the show. All right, that's all the time I got. So that's all the show we got. Always fun to see you all, however many of you out there, because I don't see you. Maybe I'll try opening comments next time. I'm Rob Nelson. This is the Nightly Recap. This is the Gokhshtein News Network. And you can watch my show, Rob Nelson Live, and I hope you will, where you get sharp takes and big stories, in case you didn't read the thing in the upper left or right. I'm dyslexic, and I'm looking at a camera. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you all there. Have a great night.
Valuable company in the world right now is NVIDIA.
China gonna have to bow down, man. China is going to have to bow down.
Good evening, and welcome to the Nightly Recap powered by Gokhshtein.